We have some more WikiLeaks for you here. This is internal Hillary camp banter about the primary. This was during the primary. And here's a noteworthy moment about what they really think of democracy. So they say, Florida looks to be our strongest March 15th state as we lead 59-29. Here we benefit from Florida being the first big state to hold a fully closed primary. Young voters in the state are disproportionately registered as unaffiliated and are not allowed to participate in the Democratic primary. Wowzers. So it's not only this from Florida, but earlier today I saw as well, they were happy about low turnout in Iowa. Remember, Hillary just barely eked out a win in Iowa, and they were like, oh, thank God there was low turnout, because they knew if there was higher turnout, what does that mean? More young people turned out, and more young people favor who? Bernie Sanders. So he would have won if the turnout was higher. Now, here they are openly discussing in emails to each other. They say, hey, we really benefit from these closed primaries, and young voters are disproportionately registered as unaffiliated and not registered as Democratic, which means it's going to help us, which means it's great that they're locked out of the process. Yeah. Oh, that is the grossest thing I've ever heard. Now, remember, Hillary Clinton and her camp, did they make a big stink about it in the general election? These Republicans are undemocratic. They don't want one person, one vote. That's not what they want. I mean, look, they passed the voter ID laws. They try to limit the number of voting hours to keep turnout down. Now, why do these Republicans do that? Well, it's very simple, because low turnout means it's more likely that Republicans win. Higher turnout means more young people turn out, which means more Democrats turn out, which means we're more likely to win. So look, these Republicans should just call it what it is. They're authoritarian. They're fascist. They don't believe in democracy. That's what it is. Okay, this is an argument that the Hillary camp makes. This is an argument that every Democrat makes in the general election. You want to know why? Because it's true. That is what happens. The Republicans do try to suppress the vote as much as possible because they're more likely to win if they suppress the vote. But that's exactly what Hillary Clinton did in the primary. Understand, the polls it wasn't even close. Bernie Sanders had the heart and soul of millennials by gigantic margins. So Hillary's team, they're not dumb. They're reading the polls and they're going, oh shit, well, this isn't good for us. So they celebrate. Yes, closed primaries, yes. So they're happy that people are locked out of the process, and specifically millennials are locked out of the process, and now they have the nerve to turn around to you and go, millennials, don't you love Hillary Clinton? Look at the photo shoot that she did with Ellen. She's dancing. How wacky. Look, Kim and Kanye. Oh, Kim and Kanye, they like Hillary Clinton. Do you like Hillary Clinton? Look, here she is using a hula hoop and sipping a Zima. Maybe she will play the Pokemon's game. Oh, stop it. Stop. I hate you so much. That's how millennials feel when they say you do that shit. Because that's all you got. That's all you got. And some of her, staffers internally, they said in emails to each other, like, okay, look, Hillary's gonna, pump the brakes a little bit, because the reality is, millennials have a fine-tuned sense for political BS. In other words, the last thing you want to feel is that they're being pandered to. You know what they care about? Student loan debt, bitch. You know what they care about? Healthcare. You know what they care about? The economy. You know what they care about? All the policy issues, which she wants to deflect from and distract from because she's not that liberal and she's not that progressive. So she goes, oh, yes, look at me. I went on Jimmy Fallon's show. Don't you want to vote for me, millennials? I am so hip. I am so with it. Watch me do the Macarena. Don't you want to vote for me? Oh. It's so bad. I fucking hate this, man. I really hate it. Because, and understand, so they're celebrating closed primaries. You think the DNC didn't have something to do the entire process with tipping the scales against Bernie Sanders? Of course they did. We now know that as a result of WikiLeaks. So it's one thing when you look at the media and we saw that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was colluding with the media, she got mad at Morning Joe when they did a tough segment on her, and she said, I'm going to talk to your boss. I'm going to talk to the head of the network at MSNBC. That's what I'm going to do. Throwing a tantrum, basically saying, look, it's talk good about us or else we're threatening your access. That's one way they tip the scales. But then there's other ways. I know it better than anybody else. I'm here in New York. And what happened in New York? Well, again, primaries were closed, but they also had absurd rules like if you wanted to switch parties, you had to do it 6 months in advance. My fucking brother-in-law was a registered Republican, wanted to vote for Bernie, couldn't because it was too goddamn late. By the time he figured out he could switch, couldn't do it. He was shut out of the process. When I was at the polling place, young kid comes up, maybe 22 years old, whatever. He's like, I'm not sure if I'm registered as an independent or as a Democrat. Can you look it up for me? Because if a Democrat, I want to vote. Who do you think he was going to vote for? So they're waiting. He goes, oh, they say you're registered as an independent. 2 votes right there. I'm one person who heard about this. And this isn't including, I'm sure people have comments on my videos and shit. I'm in New York. I couldn't vote for this reason, that reason. They cut the voting times in upstate New York in districts that were much more likely to go to Bernie Sanders. They just changed. Oh, look at that. We changed the voting times. Isn't that strange? Meanwhile, all the districts that were much more likely to go pro-Hillary, their voting hours stay the same. Would you look at that? Isn't that a fucking coincidence right there? And it happened all around the country. They tried to tip the scales in so many different ways. And here, now we know, internally, they say it. They're like, oh, look, it's good. There's a closed primary in Florida, so 59-29. By the way, again, the biggest reason for this, for those of you who don't know, has to do with millennials and has to do with independence. So when you close the primaries, it's only people who are registered as Democratic who can go vote. And when you go just loyalist Democrats, partisan Democrats, much more likely to go for Hillary Clinton. When you allow in independents and when you allow in more millennials, and millennials, a lot of them are registered as independent, way more likely to go Bernie Sanders. So closing the primary really, really, really unfairly biases it in favor of Hillary because fewer people vote and then she's more likely to win. When more people vote, he's more likely to win. And now we know internally this is what they were saying to each other. Isn't it great when less people vote because then we have a better chance of winning? The same fucking thing they accuse Republicans of, and why they say Republicans are gross and undemocratic. They say the same shit when they're against somebody who's actually populist like Bernie Sanders.